Yes. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, all of you. So, I welcome you all to my class. My YouTube referral code is APMAM Live. Soon, I will be coming live to take lectures. So, please do remember my referral code and use it. Myself, Dr. Aditi Fapare, and I'm teaching on this platform since June this year itself. I have pursued PhD in diabetes, Masters in Bioanalytical Sciences, BSc in Biochemistry, and B.Ed in Biology. I was a topper in my B.Ed. So, from my 11th standard to my PhD, I have done it from Mumbai University, and B.Ed I have done it from Pune University. And this is my 13th year of teaching going on now. I have taught students of all boards, state board, CBSE board, ICSE board, as well as semi English students. I really enjoy teaching, and I hope that many students get benefit from the lectures that I'm taking here or the YouTube videos that I'm uploading here. Okay? So if you like my lectures, please share the link with your friends whom you think our lectures, okay, my lectures would benefit. So please share the link to all your friends. So on YouTube, this is my fourth lecture. Uh, First three lectures, I taught chapter 1, correct? So chapter 1 of 11th standard, that is living world. So in my first three videos, I have covered that, wherein I have spoken about the basic principles of life, giving various examples. Certain things you had already learned about it in ninth and 10th, and certain new things also are added in 11th standard. So all I have covered. Then I also spoke about taxonomical aids. What are taxonomical aids? Like herbarium, botanical gardens, zoological parks, biodiversity parks, key, etc. So what are they? What are their applications, uses? All these things, and of course, not to forget, quiz at the end. At the end of each lecture, I always take a quiz because I know how much students are excited to solve the MCQs, and actually it's good because it is a test, right? Which will uh, tell you how much you have understood. Correct? It will also tell us teachers that how much our students have understood. So I feel poll or quiz at the end of every lecture is a must. And as far as possible, I do follow it in all my lectures, uh, whether online or offline. So in today's session, the fourth lecture, as I said, I will be talking about chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2 in your 11th standard, and the name is Systematics of Living Organisms. So, let's discuss about it. Basically, first of all, what is systematics? Okay, systematics means um, anything anything which is done in proper way. Correct? When I say do this systematically, a simple English word, systematics. So what does that mean? If I tell you, please dress up properly, sit properly, right? We use these terms. So likewise, we also use the terms mm, study systematically, correct? Or strategically. So basically, the term systematics, it means a study. Over here, it means a study which is done in a proper systematic way. It could be anything. When you are learning about living organisms, you should not just randomly go here and there. Whenever you are learning about any living organisms, you should talk about them systematically. In a sequence, you should learn about them. Correct? So, as we go on further in this chapter, definitely you will understand more. let's move further. So in my today's session, I plan to cover these three things, that is systematics, classification, and three domains of life. Okay, so let's move further. What can you see, all of you over here? A five kingdom system of classification. Yes, and this is very, very important, students. Please by heart this chart. Okay, learn this chart, by heart this chart, because it's definitely going to help you in your 11th as well as your 12th. And not just that, when you take professional courses in this particular field after your 12th standard, again there are certain basics which will always help you, right? So I would be telling in my all videos what are you supposed to by heart, because this is the foundation. Understand, your 11th is the foundation for 12th, and 11th and 12th study, whatever you study, that's the foundation for your further professional courses. So your focus should always be on understanding the concepts. Correct? Understand all the concepts, and there are certain things which you will have to by heart. There is no other option, but you will have to by heart. But that's okay. Whenever you are learning something or by hearting something, if you know it, if you understand it, then it becomes easy for you to learn or by heart. Okay, learning becomes simple and easier when you have understood any concept properly. So, or keeping this in mind, let's move further. Five kingdom system of classification. Who gave this system? Five kingdom system of classification was given by Robert Whittaker in 1969. Hmm? What did he say? How did he classify? You can see the chart on the in front of you. देखो, there are organisms first of all. Of course, here now we are talking about living organisms, है ना? Living organisms are basically classified into two main categories, that is prokaryotic organisms and eukaryotic organisms. Now, what do you mean by prokaryotic organisms? And what do you mean by eukaryotic organisms? So, let's talk about it in brief. Prokaryotic organisms. Now, these are the organisms who have prokaryotic cells. Okay. Now, what do you mean by prokaryotic cells? Understand. Pro means primitive. The term pro, it means primitive, okay, or ancient. And the term karyon in Greek, it means nucleus. Okay, karyon is a Greek term, which in English means nucleus. So understand. So prokaryotic, this word actually has been derived from, or it means very old, very ancient, or primitive nucleus. So, the prokaryotic cells are the cells in which very old type of nucleus is present. In fact, it is not even called as nucleus, to be frank. It is called as nucleoid. क्या कहते हैं? Nucleoid. ठीक है? Why? Because it does not have a proper structure. Huh? So, there is no proper structure, there is no proper membrane, just an irregular shape, genetic material, it is present, and so that's why it is termed as nucleoid. Remember this term, nucleoid. So in prokaryotic organisms we have prokaryotic cells. In prokaryotic cells we have nucleoid as the genetic material. It does not have nuclear membrane, nuclear envelope, or nucleolus. All these things, they are not present. All these parts of nucleus are not present in them. It's a simple, primitive, very old, ancient type of nucleus which was formed. Okay, and therefore उसको nucleoid कहा जाता है. It is not even called as nucleus. It could be circular, है ना? It is circular, and just a single chromosome, that's it, irregular shape you may say, and it is lying in the cell, that's it. ठीक है? अच्छा, apart from nucleoid what do we have? We in these cells As I said, they are simple cells. They do not have membrane bound organelles in them. Membrane bound organelles मतलब जिसमें membrane होते हैं, है ना? For example, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum. So उसमें रफ एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम है ना, या फिर स्मूथ एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम, so many of them. So basically membrane bound organelles are absent in prokaryotic cells. Fine. Whereas this membrane bound or cell organelles are present in eukaryotic cells. ठीक है, तो इनमें राइबोसोम्स आर प्रेजेंट, okay, but other membrane bound organelles are not present. Fine. So very simple. They have nucleoid and they do not have membrane bound organelles in them. They are the first ones to be formed on the earth. They are very old, very ancient, primitive organisms to be formed on the earth. First ones, first organisms. So they belong to the group of Monera. He classified, Robert Whittaker classified these prokaryotic organisms in the kingdom Monera. He classified the living organisms into 5 kingdoms. Correct? So the first kingdom, the first kingdom was Monera, 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 and this Monera, it includes all the prokaryotic organisms. Is that clear? All the prokaryotic organisms are involved in the group or in the kingdom Monera. अच्छा, कौन से organisms है ये? अच्छा, ये तो पता चला, they are into kingdom Monera and they are prokaryotic organisms. But what's the example? What exactly? What comes to your mind when we say prokaryotic organisms Monera? Oh, अच्छा हाँ, ये है, correct. So there must be something which should strike your mind immediately. What is it? When you are listening to my lecture, you can type the answer in the chat box. ठीक है? Okay, the answer is bacteria. Always remember that. ठीक है? All kinds of bacteria. What are bacteria? Bacteria are prokaryotic organisms, and all bacteria have been classified into the kingdom Monera. ठीक है? चलो. Coming to eukaryotic organisms, obviously eukaryotic organisms have membrane-bound organelles present in them. They do have proper nucleus. है ना? अब EU means what? EU. Eukaryotic में EU, it's a Greek word which means true. TRUE, true. ठीक है? And again, karyotic has been taken from the term karyon, which is a Greek word and it means nucleus. So true nucleus, उसका meaning क्या है? Eukaryotic term का meaning है true nucleus. I hope it's clear. Prokaryotic का मतलब है old या primitive nucleus, whereas eukaryotic का मतलब है a true nucleus, right? So eukaryotic organisms are those who have eukaryotic cells. First point. Eukaryotic cells, they are true cells. It means they have proper nucleus. Nucleus has got proper structure, size, shape, correct? Proper nuclear envelope, nuclear pores, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, है ना? And then उसके अंदर genetic material. It could be DNA or RNA. Most of the living organisms, the genetic material is DNA. What is genetic material? It is the hereditary material which is passed from one generation to another, right? From parents to offsprings. Don't forget that. DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid. And in few organisms such as viruses, the genetic material is RNA. That is ribose nucleic acid. Okay? So remember that. Now, the eukaryotic organisms, as I said, they have proper nucleus with proper shape, size, structure. They also have various membrane-bound organelles present in them. Yes, such as mitochondria, then Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and of course they have ribosomes as well, and lysozymes. So inclusion bodies. Inclusion bodies are present in prokaryotic organisms as well. In fact, उनमें ज़्यादा होते हैं. Fine. And eukaryotic cells, in some cells they are there and in others they might be absent. ठीक है, but इनमें सारे membrane bound organelles are present. Now they are well formed cells, understand, है ना? They eukaryotic cells are been formed later, so they are well formed and well developed cells. Now again, in eukaryotic cells there are of two types, unicellular and multicellular. ठीक है, unicellular and multicellular. Now what do you mean by unicellular? As the name suggests, unicellular cells. Uni means one, right? So these are single celled organisms. The organisms belonging to whom we call as unicellular, it means that their entire body is made up of only one cell, single cell, and that's why they are called as unicellular organisms. Now, unicellular but eukaryotic, right? So that means they have proper nucleus, they have membrane bound organelles, in that one cell. So unicellular but eukaryotic. Such organisms were grouped under the kingdom Protista by Whittaker. ठीक है? Eukaryotic unicellular organisms were classified or were grouped into the kingdom Protista. Then you can also see multicellular there. So multicellular means what? These are the organisms in whom many cells are present. ठीक है? The organisms in which multiple or many cells are present, such organisms are called as multicellular organisms. Fine. Now, multicellular organisms, again they are of two types, with cell wall or without cell wall. With cell wall or without cell wall. Listen to this carefully. Multicellular organisms are again classified into two types, the organisms having cell wall and the organisms without cell wall. Cell wall किस में present होता है? Plants में, right? And even in fungi. ठीक है? And animals that do not have cell wall. Correct? ये हमने छोटे standards में भी पढ़ा है. I hope you remember 8, 9, 10. Correct? Plant cell, animal cell. Okay, chalo. So let's talk more about it. With cell wall, organisms that have cell wall in their cells, again they are of two types, phototropic and heterotropic. Phototropic means these are the organisms which can prepare their own food. These are the organisms which can prepare their own food. How can they prepare their own food? With the help of green pigment chlorophyll and with the help of sunlight. So they perform the process of photosynthesis and they produce food. So they are called as phototropic plants. I hope that is clear. है ना? Phototropic, they are known as all the phototropic organisms. They belong to the group Plantae, belong to the kingdom Plantae. Correct? All plants can prepare food, whether they are aquatic plants or whether they are terrestrial plants. All plants prepare their own food. Fine. अच्छा चलो. Next, moving to the next part. Heterotropic. अभी they have cell wall. They are multicellular. Understand? They are multicellular. मतलब their body is made up of several cells. They do have cell wall. All their cells they have cell wall, but they cannot make their own food. They cannot make their own food with the help of sunlight or with the help of pigments. They cannot make their own food. So, but that does not mean they starve or they don't eat anything. It's not possible. अगर ऐसा होता तो मर जाते, है ना? See, any living organism, all living organisms, they need food to eat, only and water to drink. So only then all living organisms will be able to survive. है कि नहीं? Otherwise, there would be death. So understand, these are the organisms who are multicellular, but and of course they have cell wall also, but they cannot make their own food. So for such organisms who cannot prepare their own food but they are dependent on other organisms for their food requirements are called as heterotropic organisms. ठीक है? And Mendel grouped this heterotropic multicellular organisms in the kingdom fungi. Right? So Monera includes all bacteria, only prokaryotic organisms, for example bacteria. Then eukaryotic and unicellular were included in Protista. Multicellular with cell wall, है ना? Again, उसमें भी phototropic, मतलब who can make their food, included in plantae. They are multicellular with cell wall but heterotropic, that is fungi. And last but not the least, they are multicellular with many cells, but they do not have cell wall. Their cells do not have cell wall, and they were classified into the kingdom Animalia, all different types of animals. Correct? So this is the five kingdom system of classification. Again, I'm telling, remember the name of the scientist and also remember the year. They ask in exam. Fine. Robert Whittaker, and year is 1969. I hope it's clear. Just a quick recap. Organisms, first classified into prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic matlab very primitive. Pro means primitive or old. Karyon means nucleus. The old nucleus, your primitive nucleus, and therefore the name prokaryotic. They have simple nucleoid, do not have proper nucleus ka structure. A simple round chromosome, single chromosome in circular fashion is present, and it is termed as nucleoid. Then, and no membrane bound organelles are present in them. They are absent. They were grouped in Monera, example bacteria, all bacteria. Eukaryotic, eu means true. So true nucleus. These cells have true nucleus, proper nucleus, as well as membrane bound organelles are present in them, such as mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysozymes, etc. Again, they were divided into two, unicellular, multicellular. Unicellular matlab single-celled organisms. They were included in the group of Protista. Correct? And multicellular, again, matlab they have many cells. Cells form tissues, tissues form organs, organs form organ systems, and various organ systems work in a network to form a complete organism. This is known as cellular organization, which is a common thing for all living organisms present on earth. ये मैंने मेरे previous lectures में discuss किया है. ठीक है? So if you have missed those, please do watch them on YouTube. फाइन, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. सो मल्टी सेल्यूलर में अगेन विद सेल वॉल, विदाउट सेल वॉल. विद सेल वॉल मतलब अपने प्लांट्स एंड फंगाई. ठीक है. सो उसमें भी प्लांट्स आर फोटोट्रोपिक, दैट इज दे कैन मेक देयर ओन फूड इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ लाइट एंड क्लोरोफिल. एंड हेटरोट्रोपिक आर हु कैन नॉट मेक देयर ओन फूड, फॉर एग्जांपल फंगाई. एंड विदाउट सेल वॉल मतलब एनिमेलिया. एनिमेलिया में भी बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स हैं. In detail about different phylums of kingdom Plantae, we will be learning in chapter 3, iske baad wala chapter. And then in chapter 4 again we will be learning about in detail about animals. So chapter 3 is completely dedicated to plants. The name is Kingdom Plantae. Similarly, fourth chapter is completely dedicated to animals, classification of animals with examples, and the name is Kingdom Animalia. ठीक है, चलो. Yes. Can you see this beautiful diagram? First, you can see plants. You can see leaves, stem, flowers. So it's that's a plant has been shown. Then a fungi is shown. Mushroom. It's a mushroom. Then a butterfly, okay, which belongs to Animalia. It's an insect and it belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Then Protista. Example is amoeba. Right? 1 minute. Sorry for that. Okay. Can you see Monera? Bacteria. Monera, all bacteria are involved in that. See that diagram. It's one single cell is shown and a long tail-like structure is shown. That long tail-like structure, it is known as flagella. Flagella. What does flagella do? It helps in movement, okay, or it helps in locomotion of the organisms belonging to Monera. है ना, वो जो बैक्टीरिया है, it can move. If it has a flagella, it can move from one place to another. So I hope you have understood this. Let's move on further and discuss some certain definitions. ठीक है चलो. So the first definition मैंने थोड़ा आपको बताया था जस्ट रफली सिस्टमैटिक्स का मतलब. अब स्टैंडर्ड डेफिनेशन हम देखेंगे सिस्टमैटिक्स का एंड दैट टू विथ रिलेशन टू आवर सब्जेक्ट है ना. सो व्हाट इज सिस्टमैटिक्स? It is the study of kinds and diversity of organisms and the comparative and evolutionary relationship. मैंने कहा ना हम systematically properly study करेंगे तो उसको systematics कहते हैं. तो again I repeat, देखो study of kinds and diversity of organisms and their comparative and evolutionary relationships. There are so many different types of organisms, diverse organisms. So we study about them, then we compare the results or observations to see whether there is any common thing between these organisms or not. And then we also study evolutionary relationship. What do you mean by that? Evolutionary relationship. See, you all know that whatever living organisms are present on the earth, है ना, they have not formed in a single day. Whatever living organisms are present on the earth, they have not formed in a single day. Understand? है ना? It they have evolved. Many of them, in fact, most of them, over years, over thousands of years, they have evolved. Matlab, initially their structure was something else, and then evolution happened over thousands of years. Correct, millions of years, thousands of years. Evolution took place, and there were changes in the structure and function in all the living organisms. तो उसको evolution कहते हैं. Then so we study evolutionary relationship of one organism with the another organism. अपना खुद का एग्जाम्पल ले लो ह्यूमंस का. क्या हम ऐसे ही थे पहले से कि जैसे अब है? नो. यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड इन हिस्ट्री स्टोन एज मैन, है ना, याद करो फोर्थ स्टैंडर्ड आई गेस, थर्ड या फोर्थ. तो वी हैव स्टडीड अबाउट द स्टोन एज मैन, है ना, कैसे थे पहले. They used to walk, initial man they used to walk on four legs, है ना. Then their body was not erect, posture was not erect like us. They used to bend. Then their entire body was fully covered with hair, lots of hair. Then they had tail, understand, and of course they didn't wear clothes that time. So after a while, okay, the tail got vanished, and we got erect posture. The hair growth on our body also reduced, and so on and so forth. So basically, changes have taken place over a period of time. So it is not just in humans, but these changes have happened over many years in different organisms as well. उसी को फिर धीरे धीरे changes होते हैं, उसको evolution कहते हैं. And when studies happen between all these organisms, है ना, comparative studies, उसको evolutionary relationship कहते हैं. Fine. So this definition of systematics was given by G. Simpson in 1961. ठीक है? चलो. Let's move further. The next definition, as you can see, is that of taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Again, taxonomy is the study which is used by various taxonomists, है ना. वो जो भी काम करते हैं, study करते हैं, for what? To identify different living organisms and to study more about them in a scientific manner, in a systematic manner. Correct? So the people who are involved in it, we call them as taxonomists. And the study that they do is known as taxonomy. Understand? So basically, it is the classification which follows certain rules and principles. Again, you cannot do anything randomly in this. That these the word has been derived from two Greek words, as you can see, taxis, which means arrangement, and nomos, which means law or rule. Okay, so taxonomy. So this is the study, right, in which the arrangement or classification of living organisms is done based on certain rules or laws, yeah, principles. And that's why this study is known as taxonomy. Okay, nobody is randomly grouped into any phylum. or any division or any kingdom. A lot of study has gone behind it. The term was introduced by A.P. de Candolle. He was a Swiss botanist and he lived from 1778 to 1841. Okay? So this is the definition of taxonomy. Okay. So what is the next definition? As you can see, the next definition is classification. That of classification. What is classification? Arrangement of organisms in distinct categories in accordance with a particular and well established plan. Again, see, when you arrange the organisms in several categories, you do not do it randomly. Hmm? There is always a certain criteria based on which you will group organisms into different categories, into distinct categories. Correct? So, when you are arranging or grouping these organisms into various categories, it is always based on some criteria, as I said. You may make a well established plan, a particular special well established plan, and then based on that you may perform the arrangement or classification. Correct? That is grouping. Now this is done based on similarities and dissimilarities among the organisms. When we talk about organisms, living organisms, when we talk about their classification, so different living organisms have been classified into different groups based on similarities and differences among them. है ना? Similarities and differences among them. These are the two important points which are considered when organisms are classified. Now, I will just give you an example. Simple example of classification. Suppose your mom asks you to, keep your clothes properly in a cupboard. Correct? So, to arrange your cupboard, basically, so obviously we don't wear only one type of clothes, do we? No, na? Right. We do not wear any, all of us in fact, we do not wear only one type of clothes everywhere. मतलब बाहर जाने के लिए भी वही, घर पे भी वही, फैमिली के फंक्शन में, बर्थडे पार्टी में, वेडिंग में भी वही, ऐसा तो नहीं होता है ना? Our life will become so dull and boring then if that was the case. Understand? We do not wear same types of clothes everywhere. As per the occasion, okay, we wear different types of clothes. So obviously, in cupboard you will have different types of clothes. For example, at home we wear simple loose clothes, cotton preferably, है ना? Loose. When we are going out to meet your friends, you will dress up and go. You will wear proper clothes, है ना? Proper, you will dress up and go. If it's birthday party or wedding, फिर तो क्या ही पूछना. फिर तो और और अच्छे से एकदम क्लासिक कपड़े पहन के जाएंगे, है कि नहीं? We all do that. So point is, now that your mom has asked you to, arrange your cupboard, so what you will do? Will you randomly just take all these clothes and dump them in one corner of your shelf? I hope you're not doing so. अगर ऐसे किया तो मार पड़ेगी मम्मा से फिर, है कि नहीं? So I hope you're not doing that. So if anybody asks you, if your mom has asked you to arrange your cupboard properly, then what you will do? Any good boy or girl जो अपने मम्मा पापा की सुनते हैं वो क्या करेंगे? They will definitely first group the clothes. Okay, there will be different groups of these clothes, है ना? Based on the occasions. Let's say take where they are wearing those clothes, है ना? For example, the clothes that they wear at home, है ना? घर पे पहनने वाले कपड़े एक shelf में रख देंगे. Then clothes that are casual clothes which they wear when you go out to meet your friends or like that. Casual occasions पे पहनने वाले कपड़े आप दूसरे shelf पे रख दोगे. And एकदम हाई फाई कपड़े, है ना? जो बहुत महंगे भी होते हैं, बहुत हाई फाई क्लासिक कपड़े हैं. So such clothes you will place in some another shelf. अच्छे से पैक करके. The clothes which we wear in बेस्ट फ्रेंड का बर्थडे पार्टी और वेडिंग्स एक्सेट्रा, राइट? तो आपने क्या किया? यू हैव नॉट डन ऑल ऑफ देम टुगेदर इन वन प्लेस. व्हाट डिड यू डू? ओके, you classified them, you grouped them as per the occasion wherein you are wearing them or using them. एक शेल्फ पे घर में पहनने वाले, दूसरे शेल्फ में कैजुअल क्लोथ, तीसरे शेल्फ में एकदम अच्छे वाले कपड़े. सो आपने क्या किया? बेस्ड ऑन सम क्राइटेरिया यू क्लासिफाइड योर क्लोथ्स इनटू डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स, है ना? तो वही है, ये एक एग्जाम्पल दिया. अंडरस्टैंड, हमेशा whenever we classify anything, whenever we classify anything into different groups, there is always some criteria, there is always some criteria based on which we perform that classification. करेक्ट? आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. है ना? एक सिंपल सा अपना डे टू डे लाइफ का एग्जाम्पल मैंने बता दिया आपको जो मुझे अभी याद आया. बट रिमेंबर that anything you classify, whether it is related to our studies or not, anything you are classifying or grouping, there will be some criteria. अगर आपको let's take example of your friends. If you want to classify your friends, तो आप कैसे करते हो? है ना? स्कूल वाले फ्रेंड्स अलग, क्लास वाले फ्रेंड्स अलग, बिल्डिंग में रहने वाले फ्रेंड्स अलग, बिल्डिंग में अपने एरिया में रहने वाले फ्रेंड्स अलग, स्कूल वाले अलग, क्लास वाले अलग, है ना? करते हैं कि नहीं? स्विमिंग क्लास वाला अलग ग्रुप, ड्राइंग क्लास वाला अलग ग्रुप. जस्ट गिविंग एग्जाम्पल. सो यू हैव ऑल्सो ग्रुप्स व्हेन इट कम्स टू योर फ्रेंड्स एज वेल. क्राइटेरिया क्या था? कि आपकी दोस्ती कहाँ पे हुई है, where you met them, where they belong to in your life. So based on that, you have classified them and made different groups. I hope this is clear. Take anything, take any example, and आप खुद खुद को ही आपके समझ में आएगा. Just think of anything wherein grouping, classification comes into picture. You will realize that whenever we classify anything for that matter into groups, there is always some criteria or some plan based on which we carry out that classification. ठीक है? तो वही है, यहाँ पे भी वही है. Only thing is, here we are talking about classification or grouping of organisms, which is done on the basis of similarities. मतलब समानताएं, वो organisms के बीच में क्या क्या सेम चीजें हैं, है ना? Based on that, as well as dissimilarities, मतलब को क्या क्या अलग है. So which characters are same and which are different. So as per that, the living organisms are classified. ठीक है? I hope this is clear. Chalo, let's move further. Types of classification. The first one is artificial classification. Simple hai, not difficult. Understand? This classification है ना, artificial. This classification is based on few easily observable and non-evolutionary features. This classification is based on few easily observable and non-evolutionary features such as habit, color, form, etc., often irrespective of their relationship with other organisms. ठीक है? For example, Linnaeus system of classification. Okay? Linnaeus system of classification. Did you understand this? Huh? See, this is why it is called as artificial. You will understand when we talk about the definition. है कि नहीं? This classification is based on only the characters that are observed. The traits are not evolutionary. The features have not, they are not uh, involved with evolution. Understand? Okay, non-evolutionary features है, observable features है, जैसे कि habit. है ना? Color, we can see the habit of that organism, we can see the color, है ना? Form क्या है उसका, basic structure क्या है. तो all these things, they have got nothing to do with, you know, the relationship of a particular organism with any other organism. ये हैबिट, कलर, फॉर्म, ये फिजिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है. अंडरस्टैंड? फिजिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है. सो दे हैव गॉट नथिंग टू डू विथ सम अदर ऑर्गेनिज्म, है ना? कुछ रिलेशनशिप है नहीं, क्योंकि ये फिजिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है. आई बात समझ में? कोई भी आप एनिमल, कोई भी एनिमल कंसिडर करो, कोई भी प्लांट यू कंसिडर, if you're talking about just physical characters, morphological characters which we can see, which are observable, they don't have any role, they don't have any relationship with other organisms, है ना? सो वेरी आर्टिफिशियल क्लासिफिकेशन, सुपरफिशियल क्लासिफिकेशन है, ऐसे आप बोल सकते हो. सो सुपरफिशियल है ना, दे आर नॉट टेकिंग इन टू कंसिडरेशन मेनी थिंग्स विच दे मस्ट. बट this system of classification, it did not undertake the, the internal features. It did not consider the internal features of animals or their other relationships, okay, with other organisms. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो कंसिडर करनी चाहिए थी लेकिन नहीं कंसिडर की. Only superficial things were considered. Observable characters were considered. And that's why this is known as artificial type of classification. Example is Linnaeus system of classification. Linnaeus was the name of a scientist. ठीक है? Okay. Here I have given one example, as you can see. Domain. Classification of the organism red fox. Okay. Red fox is a common name and whelps है ना, is the scientific name. यहाँ पे genus and species is same. Whelpus भी कहते हैं some people. Any way you pronounce it, your spelling should be correct. Don't forget that. And the spellings are same. Vulpes, okay, whelps for genus and vulpes for species. Only the way it is written, that's different. We'll be discussing further binomial nomenclature and how we write it. So वो पढ़ेंगे आगे. फिलहाल let's talk about this. So this red fox is उसका classification बताया है in this example. So you can see the very first thing is domain. Domain is the larger unit than kingdom. ठीक है? So there are three domains. उसमें से एक है eukarya. From the name itself, you must have understood that this domain eukarya, it contains organisms which are eukaryotic organisms. ठीक है? And we have already discussed about eukaryotic organisms. Then the kingdom is Animalia. Phylum is Chordata because they are chordates, right? Then order is Carnivora. Family is Canidae. Genus is Whelps. Species is again Whelps. Okay, so this is the classification of red fox. Next, so artificial type of classification is done. Second type of classification is natural. Okay, natural type of classification. Now, what is this natural type of classification? In this, classification is based on objectively significant rather than being selected for convenience like artificial system of classification. Artificial system of classification में क्या किया था? बस जो observable characters है, मतलब it's easy to notice them, easy to see them, correct? So it's always easy, na? If the characters are observable, then it becomes easy to notice them and to classify the organisms based on that. So basically, artificial system of classification was, you can say, for our convenience. It was made for our convenience, but that was not the case with this. The natural classification system, it is based on objectively significant. उसका मतलब है, it considers many other things which were not considered in artificial system. Okay, it considered the anatomy, that is the internal characteristics of organisms. It also considered the relationship of organism with other organisms, right? So many such things were studied, and that's why it is called as natural type of classification. It is objectively significant, remember. Example is Bentham and Hooker's system of classification. Bentham and Hooker, they both were also scientists who gave this classification system. Okay, here I have shown a chart, a big detailed chart of Bentham and Hooker's system of classification, but you don't have this entire chart in 11th, so don't get worried. है ना, वहाँ पे बहुत सारे नाम देख के पता चले वहाँ पे चार बच्चे चक्कर आके गिर गए. So don't be don't get tensed. In your 11th standard, okay, or for that matter even in 12, you do not have all these what you can see, है ना, ये सारे सब classes या series, you don't have it, so you do not have to worry about it. But एक चार्ट मैंने इसलिए डाला कि आपको पता चले कि कैसा क्या था एग्जैक्टली Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So for that I just have put it in my slide, but you don't have to worry, as I said. हाँ, सिर्फ क्लासेस तक आपको पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है. सो प्लांट किंगडम, इट इज डिवाइडेड इनटू टू major classes, that is cryptogams and phanerogams. यहाँ पे लिखा है cryptogamia या phanerogamia is the same thing. Cryptogams or phanerogams. So cryptogams, what are they? They are non-flowering plants. Cryptogams, they are non-flowering plants who do not flower. They don't produce any flowers. ठीक है. And phanerogams, they are flowering plants. They do produce flowers. Now, this phanerogams, they are further divided. Flowering plants are further divided into three types, as you can see. तो पहले तो एंजियोस्पर्म जिम्नोस्पर्म ऐसे उसको किया गया था, ठीक है. एंजियोस्पर्म्स वहां पे नहीं दिखाया है, बट एंजियोस्पर्म्स एंड जिम्नोस्पर्म्स. एंड देन दिस angiosperms were classified into dicotyledonnae and monocotyledonnae. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे आप जो देख रहे हो ना, dicotyledonnae and monocotyledonnae, they both belong to angiosperms. ठीक है, चलो. सो क्या है जिम्नोस्पर्म्स? क्या है? Seeds are not enclosed in fruit. Because these seeds are naked. इनको naked seeds भी कहते हैं. They have naked seeds. Why? Because seeds are not enclosed in a fruit. ठीक है. And whereas seeds are enclosed in a fruit, they are not exposed into angiosperms. Then angiosperms are again further classified into dicotyledons and monocotyledons. Dicotyledons have two cotyledons in seed. Cotyledon is a tissue. Simple. So dicots are, di means two. So dicotyledon plants, they have two cotyledons in their seed. Whereas monocotyledons, they have only one cotyledon in their seed. ठीक है. And then the further classification was also done by them, but you don't have it, subclasses and all, so we won't talk about. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Types of classification. Yes, the third one and the last one. So we first saw artificial, then we saw natural, and the third one is phylogenetic. ठीक है. Now, this classification, phylogenetic, it is based on common evolutionary descent. Common evolutionary descent. मतलब, there are so many organisms who have common ancestors and who have a common evolutionary pattern. है ना? So, based on that, this classification was made. So, basically, the organisms who have common ancestors or common evolutionary descent, they were grouped into uh, they were grouped into one category. ठीक है. Likewise, the other organisms who had common ancestors were grouped into another category. ठीक है. एग्जाम्पल किसने दिया था? और एग्जाम्पल देखो, एंगलर एंड प्रांटल्स क्लासिफिकेशन. So basically, they made use of the common evolutionary pattern and they classified the organisms into various groups. Who did this? Engler and Prantls classification. Engler and Prantls are the name of the scientists. Then terms like taxa and category are often used. Each category is referred to as a unit of classification. ठीक है, unit of classification. It represents a rank. Each category also represents a rank and it is commonly termed as taxon. ठीक है? Remember this. Each category is referred to as unit of classification and it represents a rank. है ना? Or it is commonly termed as taxon. Let's move further. Phylogenetic tree of life. So you can see here, all of them have common ancestor. Bacteria, archaea and eukarya. So first various bacteria were formed. Then Archie. Archie is considered to be in between bacteria and eukarya. ठीक है, therefore दोनों के बीच में दिखाया है यहाँ पे. And primitive है, of course ancient है, and last में eukarya, the modern ones. So examples you can see, blue में सारे bacteria है, green filamentous bacteria, spirochetes, proteobacteria, cyanobacteria, aquifex and so on. In Archaea, pink color, you can see halophiles, Sarcina, Methanobacterium, Thermoproteus, etc. Eukarya, Entamoeba, slime molds, animals, Stama करके वहाँ लिखा है you are here, मतलब we belong to animals. Man is a social animal, है ना? So we belong to that star. वहाँ पे क्या है? There, that group we belong to. Fungi, plants, ciliates, flagellates, है ना? Trichomonads and so on and so forth. तो बैक्टीरिया, आर्ची एंड यूकैरिया, ऑल ऑफ देम हैव कॉमन एंसेस्टर्स. तो कॉमन एंसेस्टर है ना, इसके लिए इसको फाइलोजेनेटिक ट्री ऑफ लाइफ कहते हैं. ठीक है. Talking about this, three domains of life. The three domains of life, Carl Woese, 1977. These three domains of life, it was given by Carl Woese in 1977. We have Archie, then bacteria and eukarya. Archie, they are also called as extremophiles. All the organisms that belong to this group are called as extremophiles. ठीक है. Example, methanogens, halophiles, thermoacidophiles. अच्छा. Why they are called as extremophiles? Because the organisms belonging to this group, they can tolerate extreme conditions. Extreme environmental conditions, they are able to tolerate. They don't die. They don't fall ill. Okay, or they don't die. They are able to survive. They can fight. They can resist, and they are able to survive in the extreme conditions. And therefore, these organisms, they are also called as extremophiles. ठीक है. अब मिथैनोजेंस क्या है? Methanogens are the ones who produce methane gas. That's why they are called as methanogens. Then halophiles. Halophiles are the organisms which can live in extreme conditions of salt. ठीक है. Salty water, बहुत ही high concentration of salt जहाँ पे है, जिन oceans में है, ठीक है ना, तो वहाँ पे they can survive. Very high salt concentration. So in such areas, for example, oceans, they are able to survive without any problem. उसको halophiles कहते हैं. Thermoacidophiles मतलब they are able to survive in very high temperatures as well as in acidic conditions. है ना? Strong acid conditions or thermal means temperature, है ना? So high temperatures. इसलिए thermoacidophiles. अच्छा, सिर्फ हाई की बात नहीं है. This archaea or these organisms, they can also live in the low temperatures or very low pH. है ना? Extreme conditions बोला है. ऐसा नहीं बोला है सिर्फ हाई या ज्यादा वाले. No, they are able to survive in very high temperatures, then high pH, high acidic content. Similarly, they are also able to survive in the regions having less temperature or less acid, है ना, low acid. आई बात समझ में? तो basically they can survive in extreme conditions and hence the name extremophiles. Archie याद रखना. Bacteria, cyanobacteria, eubacteria. Some of them are beneficial, some of them are pathogenic. Cyanobacteria are also called as beauty algae, as we all know. Eubacteria are true bacteria, and some of them are beneficial. मतलब, for example, lactobacillus. It helps in formation of curd from milk. है ना, मिल्क को वो कर्डलिंग करके कर्ड में कन्वर्ट करता है. So it's beneficial. Lactobacillus. Similarly, there are many bacteria which are present in our intestine and which help in digestion. Correct? But again, some of them are pathogenic as well. Pathogenic का मतलब क्या है? Some bacteria they cause diseases. है ना? For example, Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi is a bacteria which causes typhoid in living organisms. ठीक है? याद रखना, some of them are pathogenic as well. And then eukarya, they have all eukaryotes. We have already studied about them in the first slide itself. Protista, fungi, plants and animals. All of them belonging to eukarya. Syrph or syrph. Monera, that is bacteria. It belongs to prokarya. Okay, that domain. Rest all, they belong to eukarya. Okay, so they are the three domains of life. I repeat, this was given by Carl Gusen 1977. Understand? Archie, bacteria, eukarya. The three domains of life. Domain, that is the larger unit than kingdom. Bacteria and archaea, they have prokaryotic cells. Different cell wall structure. Bacteria में archaea में जो cell wall का structure, it is different, made up of different components. Then eukarya, they have eukaryotic cells. This is very important slide. The three domains, all of them, they have unique ribosomal RNA. Unique ribosomal RNA. Remember this. All three domains have unique ribosomal RNA. Archaea, I already told you, they survive in extreme conditions. For example, high temperatures and high salinity or acidic conditions. Similarly, I said they can also survive in low temperatures, extremely low temperatures, है ना? और very low salinity, very alkaline pH. तो ऐसे में भी वो survive करते हैं. So whatever I have planned to teach you all in today's session, I have covered it. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. You have understood the concepts. If you have any query, any doubt, I request you all to message me in the comment box. And whenever I see it, I will definitely answer your query. ठीक है? अच्छा, before अभी हुआ नहीं है, the most important part which the students like, as I said, poll or quiz. ठीक है? चलो, the first question. Dash is the classification following certain rules or principles. Taxonomy, systematics, phylogeny, या all of the above. Dash is a classification following certain rules and principles. So this is the definition of taxonomy. It is there in my slides if you have seen. The answer is taxonomy. ठीक है? All three domains have unique dash. ये भी अभी just किया. They have unique ribosomal RNA. मैंने red में highlight किया है, red color में. So the three domains, all three domains, archaea, archaea, bacteria, and eukarya. All three domains have unique ribosomal RNA, that is rRNA. Five kingdom system of classification was given by, very simple, Robert Whittaker. Bacteria, archaea, and dash have common ancestor. कौन था इसके साथ? ये दो डोमेन्स हैं, इनके साथ तीसरा डोमेन कौन सा है? बी. ओके, यूकैरिया. ऑप्शंस थे प्रोकैरिया, यूकैरिया, बोथ ए एंड बी फंगाई. बस बोथ ए एंड बी देख लिया तो बस उसको आंखें बंद करके टिक मत करना. बहुत सारे बच्चे क्या करते हैं, बोथ ए एंड बी दिख दिया, दिख गया, बस सी को बोथ ए एंड बी को टिक करके आ जाओ. डोंट डू दैट. हाँ, सब ऑलवेज आंसर इज नॉट बोथ ए एंड बी. तो in this case the answer is B, eukarya. Then methanogens belong to prokarya, archaea, eukarya, none of the above. Of course the answer is archaea. And red fox belongs to class Mammalia. है ना? True or false? It's there, the slide is there. So if you do not remember, you can go back and see. Confirm for yourself. ठीक है? The answer is true. Red fox belongs to the Mammalia, class Mammalia. Answer is true. ठीक है? चलो. So by this I end my lecture. I again request you all to ask your queries, ask your doubts or any suggestions, anything in the chat box. I would definitely reply to your messages. And soon I will be going live. These are the recorded sessions, but soon I will be going live. Therefore, remember my YouTube referral code, AP Ma'am Live. AP is my initials. My name is Dr. Aditi Fapade. So AP stands for Aditi Fapade. So AP Ma'am Live. Please remember this and get in touch with me. And as I said, if you have any queries, any doubts, you can always ask me in the chat box. Okay? Let me just show you. This is what we have covered in today's session. Fine. Systematics, classification and three domains of life. एक बार फटाफट स्लाइड्स बस एक बार देख लेते हैं. ये चार्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसको बाय हार्ट करना. 5 किंगडम सिस्टम ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन. ये सारे डेफिनेशंस हैं which are given in your textbook also, महाराष्ट्र स्टेट टेक्स्ट बुक. So वही डेफिनेशंस है. Definitions you should always follow and by heart from your textbooks. तो वही से लिए है. You can by heart these definitions. Systematics, taxonomy, है ना, क्लासिफिकेशन, डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशंस, आर्टिफिशियल, नेचुरल। देखो यहाँ पे वो क्वेश्चन डाला था मैंने, रेड फॉक्स का क्लास देखो मैंने लिया, देयरफॉर द आंसर इज ट्रू। देन नेचुरल सिस्टम, उसके एग्जाम्पल, आर्टिफिशियल सिस्टम क्या है उसका एग्जाम्पल, यू शुड नो दैट। फाइलोजेनेटिक क्या है उसका एग्जाम्पल, प्लीज लर्न इट बाय हार्ट दिस। This is phylogenetic tree of life, bacteria, archaea, eukaryote. Few examples you should know, at least two examples you by heart from this domains. They do have common ancestors. Yes, see here, archaea, bacteria, eukarya. इसके नीचे इसके एग्जाम्पल्स भी दिए हैं, ठीक है। ये लाइन देखो रेड में हाईलाइट किया है, इंपॉर्टेंट है। थ्री डोमेन्स, यूनिक, राइबोसोमल, आरएनए, ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दैट। एंड देन वी टुक दिस पोल। चलो, so again, I just a last I'm telling you all, use my referral code APMMLive and I hope to see you all soon live. Bye all of you, stay safe, take care.